One attendee is waiting in the waiting room.
That's me.
Start the webinar. So is there a video playing?
No. Okay.
Okay, but there's no video. So we gotta look.
I see. I don't know. It says 7 steams I see at the top.
This is where I really need you to go and look at all the stuff. Log out. Again, this was the whole thing about
Good morning. How's it going, guys?
Are you talking, Catherine?
Apparently I was muted. Okay, you just gotta turn off your speakers. There we go. Okay. Sorry, thought you could hear me. Morning, Katya.
Good morning. How's it going?
Uh, good.
Good.
Howdy, everybody.
Good morning.
Tommy, on my screen, you look transparent. You must be a ghost today.
Say again?
You must be a ghost today. You look transparent on my screen. I think it's the background, but it's funny.
It probably is the background. Background's black and Zoe.
And he's wearing a Ghost Town shirt.
Yeah, I know.
That's actually it's one of the businesses I've had for about 5 years out here in Arizona. It's taking people out and going exploring ghost towns and gold mines.
That's pretty cool. That's
Are
pretty
you the
cool.
one that takes them to hunt the ghosts or explore, connect with the ghosts? I don't know how it works.
It's not so much the paranormal as much as it is the historical crap you find on the ground.
We were literally looking at that last night as an excursion out in Seattle as well as like Sacramento when we go out there next month. That's funny you say that.
I've been a big fan of historical properties and buildings and stuff since I was a little boy. I grew up in a town that was built during the 1870s. So I lived in buildings and worked in buildings that were older than like 3 generations. So the experience that I've had in historical settings is vast. And so my interest for it and love of it just is what I do as a grown-up now type of thing. So
Well, good morning, everyone. Super excited to get started here. We got quite a few people in. We are live on all the other platforms. And really excited about this is my favorite subject, or one of them. It's, you know, I guess I have a lot. It's one of the top favorites. And with
Say
my
it about almost everyone. Catherine,
I know,
my
right?
favorite topic.
Well, and I like a lot of things, you know.
Yes,
It's all
yes,
good.
yes.
So, and I'm super excited for who's actually going to be hosting this morning. So it's fun for me to sit back and watch all y'all have fun with some of my favorite conversations. So when you're ready, I would say take it away.
Okay, I think Victoria might be in the waiting room and she was going to show our slides. She sent me a text.
She's here. Yep.
Okay. Well, welcome everyone. We are so excited to be hanging out with you today. My name's Amor, and Trevor and I are we have some great, exciting things to talk about.
Do we get to see
we're-
Trevor?
I was just gonna
Yeah.
say I don't have the option to put my video on. If somebody could add me, I had the option to unmute, but I don't know
Oh.
why I don't have the option for video.
I don't
Wow.
have the ability to move them over to a panelist. Oh wait, here we go.
There we go. Somebody did it. Hello,
There
hello.
he is.
Oh, there you are. Okay.
I'm here.
Yay.
There we go.
Hey, Victoria.
Hold on, I'm trying to
Give me a
get to
background.
it. Can you guys hear me?
Yep, we can hear you.
Hold on, trying to share my screen.
Okay. Well, we'll just introduce ourselves while you're doing that. My name is Amor Porter, and all of these lovely people have poured into my life in so many different ways that are on this screen as panelists. I'm an investor, and legacy. It's really important for me to leave a legacy and make an impact. And I especially love connecting with nonprofits and helping them provide housing for those in need. And Catherine has been a personal mentor of mine and all of that. So we're just excited to be here today to talk about Investment Club. Trevor, what about you?
Yeah. Yeah, so I am also very excited to be here and talk about this investment club and private money lending in specific, which I have been dabbling in the last few years and gained, again, mentors very similar to Catherine and Tommy. So I'm very honored to be presenting this topic with you all and kind of why private money lending is not usually treated as your casual lending and how investment clubs actually kind of play into that. And they do require structure and wisdom and education and all the fun things. So excited to get into that with you all today.
Right. And I also just want to just give a special thanks to Tommy, who created the Land Shark Mastermind and keeps us all in order in so many ways. So just thank you, and helps us think through deals, and like this is always thinking outside the box. And I really feel like investment clubs is a little bit of a way to think outside the box. For me, when I got started in investing, I just feel like I didn't know a whole lot about investing. And so it was never talked about at the dinner table. It just wasn't the conversations I had. And so I had some fear of investing, but I knew investing was important. And so I decided, man, how could I learn with other people what it means to invest so that I am putting money and investing in real estate and stocks and different things, but I'm learning as I go. And so that's what this whole community has been about, is us learning together. And you can do it through masterminds, and you can also do it through investment clubs. So we're going to break down today a little bit of what is an investment club anyway, and then how can you do, like, what is private money lending? Like, maybe you want to get into real estate and you're like, I don't want to deal with buying the house, rehabbing the house, or all of that, or toilets like Catherine talks about all the time. But I want to be connected, and I know that real estate is so important. So we're going to just break down some of the education of this. This is an educational webinar only. This is not to advise you in any type of investment. That takes learning, and you want to make sure you have the right support around that. So we're going to talk a little bit about that now. We are good to go with our screen. Okay. So now, what comes to mind when you think about private money lending? Anybody on here? What comes to mind when you think about private money lending?
Well, the first thing is that the words in separate order are private money lending is that it's not through a bank. We're using other people's private, we're using money from a private source, not a open to public source.
Yeah, that's good. That's
Yep.
good. Yeah.
So, and as an investor, what we use private money for is we use it to quickly come up with capital. Because most of the stuff where my money's at are investments that I've got assets under management right now, not so much the liquidity of money. And so in order for me to do real estate deals, I need money, I need liquidity. And that's a good source of that liquidity is private money lenders.
That's a good point, Tommy. And I think when I first got into this, I didn't realize that that was an option. I thought it was all institutional.
Yeah.
Whoop.
Victoria, can you take us to the next slide? What's true? Okay. Oh, sorry. So I think a couple of the things that I think about with private money lending is, like, I always was like, I don't understand that. I understand a bank loan and all of that, but the whole sense of private money lending kind of got me excited. Like, oh, I can lend money, but I want to make sure that I'm lending money correctly and all of that. And so, Trevor, I know you have a lot of experience with that, and I have some experience with that. And so we'll talk a little bit more deeply about that. But in investment club, digging into that, when we think of an investment club, it really is about pulling your resources with other people and being able to invest in things bigger than you. And one of the things that for me, I think I always thought that investing was like, I have to have all of the money, I have to have all of the things, but it's kind of like a potluck. It's like everybody is bringing different things to the table. So, like, we have the main dishes, we have the side dishes. And so, an investment club, it's people who are coming to the table who may have the real estate knowledge. There might be other people who have researching skills. And then there are other people who have experience and capital, and you bring it together so that everyone learns. But the key difference between a potluck and investment club is an investment club is a little bit more serious, definitely, right?
Yep.
And so one of the things for me is making sure you're connected to the right people so that you can learn. And it's kind of like Catherine talks about, the who that knows how is so important. And there's so many benefits from being in an investment club because you can invest in bigger things. Like, Katya is working on this $1 million deals and all of that. And it's about groups of people pulling their money so that they also can invest in deals like that. So let's talk about the structure a little bit, Trevor.
Yeah. Yeah. I would love to talk about the structure of it and how, I guess to use a good example, I really like the potluck example. Think about if we were to take all of those dishes and we wanted to use all of those dishes to go buy an investment home or a vacation home that you're going to buy with your friends that brought all this together. Each person has their dish, just like in an investment club. Before anybody puts any money in, you do need to know who owns what, who pays the bills, what happens if somebody wants out, and how each member is actively participating. So in our model, we do focus on an active participation model. In order to be an investment club, you've got to take some kind of active involvement in the deal. That means you have active voting. Members must vote on every deal that we present through the club. You also have a cap. You can't have an infinite number of people. Usually we cap that at 99, and there's a reason for that we'll get to later, to ensure that what we're creating is not classified as a security. But then there's also governance. There's got to be clear roles. There's got to be clear ways for people to move in and out of the club if they want out. But that way you avoid any sticky situations later on if something goes awry or somebody wants out. So although you can, everybody's invited to the potluck and everybody brings their own dish, we still do have that form of a structure when it comes to it. So you've got everything from, again, some of the things you can see there on the slide, in terms of ownership and responsibilities, our exit strategies, and also what happens if there is a disagreement.
Yeah,
Well,
I think that's
to your
so
point,
important.
Trevor, and more the potluck is kind of like what we do in the Land Shark Mastermind in the Deal Hunter, right? That's
Mm-hmm.
kind of where the potluck is. But the Seven Streams Investor Club is literally like preparing a meal, right? And acting as a kitchen, cooking up a 7 course meal.
Yes.
Because we have so much more responsibility within that investment club than we do in the Land Shark Mastermind.
Yeah, I think that's so
Good
good
point.
too. That's such a good point. That's such a good point. And I also think, Tommy, like I mean, when we talk about the mastermind and we talk about the investment club, like we are getting exposed to so many different opportunities and businesses that we can invest in that
Right.
would be hard for us to invest in on our own. And so that's the exciting part about it. And then you also like you don't have to feel afraid about it because you're also learning as you go, so that maybe in the future, like you might be able to say, hey, well, I'm going to start this business and I'm actually going to have an investment club invest in my deal or whatever. And so, like, that's the exciting part about it.
That is
Absolutely.
exciting.
No, absolutely. And so at the end of this, I might have a case study we can put on the table to explain
Great.
how private money lending can be helpful.
Okay. So let's jump into private money lending. And the reason we're bringing that in here is because investment clubs can be focused on private money lending, or it could be a specific deal you're investing in. But we're excited to begin thinking about like maybe private money lending would be a great first step for many people who are trying to get into investing. Like, hey, I have capital, but I don't know where to put that capital, but I do want to make money and I want to make a return on that. So, Trevor, let's talk a little bit about private money lending.
Yeah, so private money lending, it sounds much more casual. And the slide says there, it's not necessarily casual just because it's not institutional and coming from a bank and you don't have to send in, all your W-2s and your tax forms. It's really focused on the asset. So if you're able to show why the investment is a good investment and how it's going to cash flow, how it's going to return those investors money, then that's an instance where private money lending, again, and Tommy led to this earlier, the speed of it being able to move a little quicker because there's not all those other things you have to come up with, like when you're getting loaned institutionally or from a bank. But you still do need to know, obviously, there's some fundamental differences, but you need to know some things like, what is this money going to be used for? That's obviously, in our investment club, we're going to line that out. But you also need to know, when is the repayment period? A very clear written timeline for repayment, non-negotiable. There's paperwork to back it, and there's also repercussions if that is not repaid within a certain period of time. Then you also need to know, what's your protection. So this isn't like a personal loan where you're just like, hey, Amor, I need $10,000 to help move in this weekend, but don't worry, I'm going to pay you back with my, whatever. This is where real estate and asset-backed lending comes in play, where if the borrower doesn't repay you, you have safeguards in place that say, well, we're backed by this asset over here that has real monetary value. You didn't pay me back on time. You knew the risks of this. I'm now taking over that asset in order to recoup my funds. And all of that being said, the last point on there, it has to be in writing. Every term, every expectation, every condition needs to be very clearly outlined with legal documentation, and we are not lawyers, but that is where we employ those really smart individuals to make sure that we are backing ourselves in the right way. And trust me, coming from someone who has the transparency enough to say, I've done it the wrong way before, I won't do it the wrong way again because I've lost things and have learned your lesson, right? So that's why there are some risks with private money lending, but also if you go about it the right way and get the right and proper protections in place, it can be very safe and very lucrative as well.
Yeah, most definitely. I think that's such a great point. Everything you said is one, like it's so important to have those safeguards, and it's important to have people on the team who understand those safeguards as well. And so let's just talk a little bit about like we want to be wise in this, and I think that's what you're saying. Like when we are lending our money, we want to be wise. And just like when a bank lends money, they don't lend on emotion. They like check the property, they check the numbers, they have documents. We have to do private money lending the same way. Catherine always talks about the numbers tell you what to do because we all can get excited about lots of things. And we want to make sure that we're not just moving on our emotions, but that the numbers tell us what to do. So, who am I lending to? It's so important to know, like, who are you lending your money to and know stuff about the borrower, their track record, and are they credible? And then understanding what is their plan and understanding in any investment, like what are the risks and how is that person or that business kind of set up to like protect the risk because you want them to have thought about that. Like every deal carries risk, but we can set up safeguards to kind of protect us from the risk. And then you want people who have reviewed the deal. And that's the amazing thing about an investment club is because you have people who have knowledge who can review the deal so that to kind of explain it to you and make sure it's structured in the right way. And I know that's a lot of things what we do in the mastermind as well. With Tommy, when we put in a deal, it's like, okay, how could this be structured? And how could it be structured in the right way? Okay. Tommy, you have anything to add to that? No.
If he doesn't, I do before we move on from that. Will you
Go
go
ahead,
back one
Trevor.
slide?
Yep.
So even though we're not a bank, you'll see on there, it actually does talk about still thinking like a bank would think. We're a little bit more nimble because we're not a traditional institution. However, you still want to know who you're lending to, what their background is, what their track record is, like you said, who's reviewed the deal, what are the risks, all of those things. You still have to think, yes, like an investor, but a wise lender would think, eliminating emotion out of it. And you know, I will admittedly, I'm a very emotional person. I think, oh, everybody can make returns sound great. So immediately, oh, yeah, I want to jump into this deal. But you always have to let the numbers tell you the story and do your due diligence. And if you're not savvy enough to do it or not experienced enough to do it, seeking out those mentors like Catherine and Tommy that we have the ability to reach out to again through the Landshark Mastermind to run those deals with us and make sure we're not missing anything because they've been through the ringer, because they've done deals like this before. So that's really what I'd like to think when you talk about thinking like a wise lender. You're not
Yeah.
going to be wise right off the bat just because you say, oh, now I'm a new private money lender and you have capital to burn. Well, a lot of the newer investors with capital to burn are the ones that do get burned because they don't know how to do that due diligence and don't have somebody like a Tommy or a Catherine to help look over our shoulder and kind of guide us. So I will add that as well.
No, I think that's so true too, because you know how, like, sometimes you don't even know what to ask, right? You don't know what you don't know. Like, so in this is so important, and that's what I've loved about the private money lending investment club that I was able to participate in for a couple of years, was just learning from private money lenders what they think about, how they do the numbers. So now I'm like, oh, okay, I know what to ask, I know what questions to ask, I know what to see before I jump into a deal. And so let's just ask a little question of the group. Imagine your friend, your good friend. You've known them for 15 years. They're like, hey, I need $25,000 for this real estate deal. I can pay you back in 6 months with interest. Before you say yes, what are questions you need to ask them?
Yeah, and that's it's a perfect question and perfect scenario. And I think again, you kind of read through those slides. It does guide you in the questions that we would ask. That at first I didn't know. It's like, oh, it's all based off of a relationship. I have a great relationship with them. They would never do me wrong. Well, unfortunately, guys, when money comes into play, I don't care how good your relationship is. I've seen family turn their backs on each other and all sorts of
Yep.
things. You can never be too careful. You need to know first if it's, I'm assuming it's real estate. Again, we said 25,000 for a real estate deal. What's the condition of the property? What's the address? What's the estimated value when you're done? Has it been appraised? Will it be appraised? Also, then kind of moving into repayment. Where is this money coming from? Okay, I'm putting $25,000 into this deal. How am I getting paid back? How are you going to get that $25,000 back? Are they flipping it and selling it? Are they refinancing it, meaning they're going to keep it? They refinance out of a hard money loan into more of like a DSCR loan, and they're getting some cash out of that that will then be able to be given to you to pay back your principal and your interest.
Yeah.
Also, are they paying this back from another deal? Maybe they have another deal that's going on. A lot of flippers have multiple deals going on at a time, and maybe they plan to exit you out of those. Then also the paperwork. How am I protected? It's not just don't worry, trust me. Then that promissory note and deed and any other legal documentation that is needed to be done. Has it been drafted? And also, what I would then say is, has it been drafted by their attorney or who they're presenting to be their attorney? Your attorney then needs to review it. Your professional needs to
Yes.
return it, not just taking them at their word. Again, not saying we don't trust anybody, but you trust and then you verify, right? Then also, what's the worst case scenario? What happens if this deal falls through? If that's the one and only deal they have, what happens if the house burns down? How am I secured on that? Are there other deals in place?
What is that worst case scenario? And if the worst case was to happen, how are you going to rectify that? Those are the kinds of questions that a wise lender or a bank would ask before any money ever moves out of the account.
So I just want to add in one more thing. One of the tools that we do have is the Deal Hunter Chat GPT that you can run the deal through there and ask it, tell it to ask you the hard questions to ask them. And if you don't get those questions, here's the other thing, like just from another piece, is doing full deep dive background checks. So, and I share this story from several years ago that I was going to do a deal with a group of people, really super nice people, really, really like them. You know, Trevor, just what you're talking about, you know, you feel like you could take them for their word, all of that. And literally flew out to Texas and Missouri, and we did boots on the ground, due diligence on the properties, spent 2 weeks with these people face to face, breakfast, lunch, dinner, like literally sleeping in Airbnbs together. Like it was that immersed inside of the due diligence. But in the back end, I let them know that our legal team was doing deep dive background checks on legal and criminal and financial and criminal, I should say. And they kept telling me everything was clean. Everything was clean. We get back. We were ready to pull the trigger. Everything looked amazing. And then we got the report.
Dun, dun, dun.
There were 5 partners. Again, you have to understand, really great people. Like, you know, it's like, oh my goodness, yes, love them. And we're talking like grandparents, full families, like amazing people. But on paper, there were 27 bankruptcies, 17 judgment liens, $14 million of investor money missing, and prison time. And they kept telling me it was clean. So clearly we didn't pull the trigger, right? So again, every time I have like, I'm kicking myself like you wouldn't begin to imagine about not doing this when I have not done this, like followed these steps, literally every time I get burned. Every single freaking time. So take that as the road less stupid. Don't do what Catherine did and be stupid and just trust people. We trust and verify. So never, ever, ever skip this step. And importantly, if you don't know the who that knows how, go to ChatGPT and look up Deal Hunter by Landshark. And it literally will help you be able to make sure that you're verifying all those pieces and then how you can actually get those verified. You need to be protected for sure.
It's a great example.
Yeah. Tommy, you have your hand.
Yeah, I wanted to kind of touch on that point as well with the trust and verify part of it is, you know, even if you do get the right answers on all these questions, the one thing you can't divert from is what other people choose to do with the, you know, with the opportunity. So, if you got all the right answers with this, the key thing is that making sure to have everything in place, including your own exit strategy from an opportunity. And so, in the case of like where we've done like a one-on-one or two-on-one joint venture deal, and there's a something turned sour is if you have a what's called a doomsday plan, that tends to be something that can buffer the worst case scenario. And so I wrote a book on it. It's called Triage Code Blue Your Business. It's on Amazon. But I took my experience in working in the emergency rooms and applied the algorithms and the mnemonics that we use to efficiently treat critically ill patients. I applied those to what we do in business. And so when it comes to something, say, for example, you lend somebody $200,000 and they turn around and go bankrupt, a month later, you know they didn't use the money for what they told you, right? And so you can't make people tell you the truth. You can only pray that they do. And the only way you can do that is to tell them the truth and be like, hey, I understand you're having hard times, but we got to get the money back. What can we do? And that's where triaging the business about it and saying, okay, this is where things are broken. If we fix this, will it make it better? And so applying those healthcare tricks to business solutions and business problems has been, a benefit to me. So, but yeah, back to your point, Trevor, again, you got to make sure that all these things are taken care of. On top of that, you want to make sure your documentation's in order as well.
Yeah, those are great points, Tommy. And I think that's one of the first conversations you and I had was our shared background of healthcare, right? And getting to understand people when you come from a world that, a doctor's the number one oath they take is do no harm, only do good. And I think I came with that mentality in here. And unfortunately I had the rude awakening that obviously not all investors or people in
Everyone
business have
does
that
it
same
today.
mentality. Yeah, yeah. So that's why the trust and verify and doing your due diligence is so important. And kind of to get back to some of this, I know we talked through a little bit of the language we were using, but here's some examples, and you guys can all kind of read the slides there of some of the different language that we use when talking through these investments. And I won't insult your intelligence to think you can't read the slide there, from everything from pooled funds and due diligence, collateral, promissory note, passive member, and investment advisor. But I do want to segue into why the Landshark Mastermind has been even so amazing for me too. And if you'll jump to the next slide, what we're doing through the experience of people like Catherine Bell and Tommy D is making this education accessible. They're not hiding anything. They're sharing a lot of their gifts, and a lot of it has been poured into that. The Deal Hunter AI GPT. That's a lot of Tommy's brain, and that's gone in there and teaches you how to understand what you're hearing, so you don't. I know I'll speak from experience, so I don't sound dumb trying to talk to these other investors or brokers or whoever, but also knowing then what questions to follow up with so that you do sound like you're educated in this, and being able to kind of understand and have intelligent conversations with those other, investors or, again, brokers, really has been a way to kind of cut the learning curve in half. And I just want to take the opportunity to say thank you to both of them and what they've built and what we're all building together. So before you think, when you hear some of these words and you think maybe this isn't for me, put yourselves in the shoes of you as a kid, right? All of the things that you've learned over the years are new. And there are ways to make this wealth building tool accessible for you. And that's exactly what we're trying to do here. Maybe just nobody's ever taken the time to explain it to you, clearly or succinctly and enabled you to ask questions. It's more of just a course. Here you go, shove it down your throat, learn it, let's go. This is that place, this is that room that you can really learn about things like private money lending, and the education and access for it.
Yeah, I think that's so good, and I think that's been like the point of this whole webinar series is like to make sure people understand and can learn, about wealth building and finance and all the things that no one talked to us about around the dinner table. And that's what I really love about being connected to this group is that, every day we're learning new language. Every day we're running deals and learning what works, what doesn't work. And Tommy and Catherine are taking time out of their day every day at the same time to pour into us, and so we can continue to learn so that we can build true legacy. And when people understand money, families grow stronger, and communities and generations are better because of it. So I just don't take that for granted, and just want to show deep gratitude for our time together over this time, but also during the mastermind.
So I just want to respond to that and just say thank you. And that gives me a different perspective. And the bigger perspective is you, right? And I tell my kids, I don't care what you know, I only care what you do. And the only reason this works, us teaching you all these things, is because you actually take it and put it into action. Right. So
Yeah.
I get the gratitude and yay. And the deeper gratitude is like that you're actually taking it and doing something with it. Because we could teach you all this, and if you do absolutely nothing, then the whole thing was a giant waste of oxygen. Right.
Most definitely.
But
Great
it
point.
only is because you're actually taking it, showing up every day, doing the hard things, like one little baby step at a time. Katya, Blake, we have college students all the way up to people who are no longer college students.
Thank you for labeling it that way.
Yeah.
People who have some
Grad
history.
students.
Let's
Grad
just say that.
students.
Grad students. There you go. Doctorates. All the things. But everybody in between. But again, it only matters if you do something with it.
Yes.
Right?
So
That's what it comes down to. So a deep, deep, deep amount of gratitude and just deeply grateful and thankful for all of you for
right.
doing it.
Yay, definitely. Hi. So as we're coming to a close, before I think we're gonna run something, Tommy said. So that's great. We also just want to acknowledge, like, all of this for us, our foundation is faith. Like that God has placed resources in each one of our hands, but that we also have to be wise in what He's given us. And that wisdom is not the same as fear. Wisdom just means slowing down long enough to truly understand and then to act, just like Catherine said. It's not just about our knowledge, it's about action. And so wisdom asks questions like, just because you're asking questions of like someone, an investor or whatever, don't feel bad about it. You're not questioning them. You're trying to make sure you have the right information to make the decision. And then wisdom seeks counsel. Wisdom's like people who are wise surround themselves with advisors, legal, financial, spiritual, and all of that before they make a decision. And that's what's so great about the mastermind and the investment club is you get to surround yourself with people who are advisors that can help you make decisions. And then wisdom follows understanding. Like it's important. And I know Warren Buffett talks about it all the time. Like you need to understand what you're investing in. You don't just invest in things without understanding them. And so this has been about us just taking, each one of us through education and learning so we can have understanding so we then can act.
Great.
Yes. So
And we
Tommy, what did you want to run
yeah.
us through? Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Trevor.
No. I was going to say that was fantastic. I don't need to add anything to it. And then this one, again, we talked through some of the questions before you participate, whether it's a private money lending deal, an investment club, for any money changes hands. I think you did a really good job of kind of learning that questions aren't disrespectful, they're responsible. I used to think the more questions I asked showed that I didn't trust that person. But remember, we talked about it's not a relationship type of a deal or a personal deal. This is an investment. This is something you need to think of as a professional, as a wise lender, and be responsible. And questions show that you're being responsible, that you're exploring the deal. You're trying to help the investor as well. And healthy questions as well as healthy answers and being prepared for those questions is a telltale sign. What I'll say is if you start asking questions and they start getting defensive, that should be a yellow to red flag. They
Yeah.
should be willing to be open and answer questions about this and be prepared for that. Otherwise, then you got your radar up. But I just wanted to add that.
No, I love that. I think people rise to the level of preparation.
There you go.
And so well, that's what it's all about. And we want to invite you. We have more for people to learn coming up soon. May 19th through the 21st, we're having a virtual webinar, and this is going to be amazing. And we're going to get to just dive deeper into like opportunities for investment clubs, opportunities for 7 streams of income, and also learning about opportunity zone and all of those things. And so we're really excited about it. Tommy has so much lined up. We get to hear from him and all of his expertise with opportunity zone and all of that and being creative. We get to hear about the Titan 23 fund and learning more about that as well as specific streams of income. So that is coming up May 19th through the 21st, and we will drop the link. But Tommy, what are we gonna
Well,
what are we gonna dive
Amore, I
into?
want to add that we'll also be rolling out our fractional as well at that.
Yeah,
So we'll be
yeah.
announcing there as
You can
well. There's a
learn
reason
more about that then. Yes.
yeah, there's a reason we talked to you about investment clubs and wanted to share that here, but we will roll that out for those attending the 3-day virtual summit.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and
get
this
ready.
this kind of wraps up the whole ecosystem of Titan Impact Group. Catherine put Titan Impact Group together quite some years ago, and she's been building this ecosystem around her for over 2 decades. And so we went through the just through her contact list on her CRM. I wouldn't ready for this. I wouldn't know what the word CRM stood for if I didn't know Catherine. How about that? Right? Like that's how unconnected I was. But with
Oh
the
boy.
6,000 contacts she's made over the last 2 years,
Yeah.
we've had a lot of participation with people wanting to get into learning not only not only learning the real estate and investing, but the relationships and the AI. Like so many people have been afraid of AI, and one of the things Catherine and I talked about was how AI has really helped us build relationships more than taking them apart. It's brought together the human factor. It's bought us time to build relationships with people instead of doing the stuff that are so mundane and useless. Sitting around figuring out, like I just sat here when Amor said, Tommy's got something to share. I literally was like, oh crap, hold on, hit the mute button, told my AI what I needed to say, and it computed about 3 days worth of work in that time frame.
Right.
Right. So so I can continue to stay engaged here. And so I just want to put that out there that we started out seven webinars ago, about 2, 3 weeks ago. We started out talking about Titan Impact Group. We started talking about what it looks like to be in that ecosystem, with the Landshark Mastermind being the kind of like the body to everything. And then we talked about the Chosen Forever, which is Catherine's soul behind everything. It's the why. And then we've got, Wealthwise Women, which was hosted by the three lovely ladies that are on the screen down there. And that's a community of women that are wealth builders for their family, for their husbands, for their kids, for their future, for their grandchildren, right? And teaching women how to become the investors that God built them to be. And we talked about Trevor and I had the opportunity to talk about Landshark Mastermind. My partner Roman and I talked about Opportunity Zone, which is tax strategies. And so all these things have come together to the culmination of today, where we talked about the Investor Club and the Seven Streams Investor Club and what that's going to look like. So I appreciate everyone coming in today, and we've got we've got about 7 days, about a full week before we have the 3-day virtual summit. So make sure that if you see the links out there somewhere on somebody's page, sign up and get a part of the program. You can watch for free. You can play. You can pay to play. Pay a little bit, $99 to play with us for 12 hours. Okay. I'll tell you right now, Catherine Bell's about $1,000 an hour. So if you're paying $100 an hour to get to hang out with Catherine for 4 hours for 3 days, sucker, you're getting a discount. Um, so that's what my daddy would say, sucker, you're getting a discount. So anyway, the 3-day package has a VIP section to it where you're going to be able to keep the videos that we make over those 3 days and put together during that virtual summit. And then leading up into our live event, it's going to be the largest networking event in the country, December 1st through the 4th, held in Scottsdale, Arizona, where we're going to have investors meeting entrepreneurs. We're going to have deal makers meeting deal breakers. There's going to be a lot of good stuff that come from it. But I hate conferences where they're like, it's so great, it's sunshine and bunny. We're going to send people home with broken hearts. Because like you're gonna come, you're gonna have the wrong stuff, and you're gonna have an attitude about it, and go home and not want to do nothing about it. I'm sorry. So we're looking for people that want to come, bring their deals, put them on the table, and hear the truth and how they can get better, or find out that they're worth something. We're going to put some money on it. So the 4-day event is going to be December 1st through the 4th, held at Club Scottsdale, and all these lovely people here are going to be there as well, and participating and getting deals done. So I want to thank Amor and Trevor both for presenting today and putting all this together. It's amazing what a team can do, and Victoria for hitting that next button. So like without Victoria, you wouldn't be able to see the pretty pictures. You just hear us talking. I had that problem during my event. I didn't have a Victoria. So I didn't have a VJ up in my box, hitting my buttons. I had to figure mine out. So I appreciate everyone. And Catherine, do you have anything to add to that?
So I put the registration link in the chat. If everybody goes to the Zoom chat right here, the registration link is there. And I invite all of you to get signed up now. Again, it's not about what you know, it's about what you do. And more importantly, the thing that's catapulted my and all of our careers forward, it's the who that knows how. So we're bringing the who's that know how for all of the things and literally getting you connected to the things. And more importantly, there's going to be some unbelievable tools that we're going to be giving you, such as your personal investor survey, understanding what kind of investor you are and what kind of investments will make your heart sing. And then literally being able to provide you with a 90-day blueprint and even a 12-month blueprint. So again, if you're serious about this, get yourself registered, and it's about getting in the right rooms. Proximity is power. And yes, it may not be physical proximity, but thanks to Zoom and AI and all the tools, this is proximity to people who are have added a lot of commas to all of our bank accounts and other people's bank accounts, and that's what we want for everybody. And so my whole vision is literally, my goal is to have everybody in this country have 7 streams of passive income to help deal with and mitigate the 5 Ds: death, divorce, diagnosis, downsized, and being dumped from their jobs. And by doing this, protecting that, now you actually get to go make a difference in the world and make that impact that you're called here to make. So adding commas to bank accounts allows you to make that impact. But at the end of the day, it literally is about taking the action. So I invite all of you to get registered. And when you get registered, put it in the chat here so that we can celebrate. We're looking forward to working with all of you. I know, well, I'm registered. Anybody else here registered? Laura's registered. So Victoria, Trevor, Amor, everybody's registered. So again, all of you, we want to get you registered and get this blocked out in your calendar. This is you investing in you. That's what I want you to understand. And that's the biggest thing that has allowed me to add as many commas as I have to my bank accounts, as me investing in me and my business. So again, success leaves clues, and this is a giant clue. And we are bringing this to you and providing enormous amounts of value and tools and connections for you to build your 7 streams of passive income. So yes, share with all the people in your family, because again, we're out to impact and change the legacy of families forever. And we do that through financial literacy. So please register, join, share. The more people we have there, the bigger difference in the world we can make. So we're very excited.
We're gonna have some speakers at the thing as well. And so make sure you sign up. Use the Eventbrite link. We'll send you the Zoom link once you've registered. If you find the Zoom link and you register, you won't be able to get the upgraded package. So make sure you find the Eventbrite link. Sign up through Eventbrite. We've got a link on there for the free, just watch, the pay to play, and then the pay to play to and then keep. We'll call it the treasure package. You get to keep the treasure. So, because we're all about the land shark, like if you ain't figured it out, this is a pirate theme thing, but we're the good pirates. So figure it out. So, aside from that, what I wanted to do is also present that opportunity to explain private money lending. I went and looked at a property yesterday. It's an investment property for an Airbnb, luxury Airbnb. It's a big 5-bedroom house, really fancy backyard, really cool swimming pool, blah, blah, blah. We're going to use private money lending to buy the property for $150,000. I'm going to call it the Pace Morby pitch. Let me show you how to buy a multi-million-dollar mansion for $150,000. Right? So that's what private money lending does, right? I'm using other people's money to pay the owner $150,000. I still got to go and get a loan to pay off the $900,000, and I'm going to get the owner to finance the other $740,000. And at the end of the day, my cash out of pocket's only $150,000. And I like to tell you that up front ahead of time, because our monthly payment is going to be well over $10,000. So we're going to have to rent this thing out to make money off it. It's gonna have to rent for more than $10,000 a month. And where we're located in Scottsdale, where this particular property is located in Scottsdale, it's highly doable. It's got an estimate of about $25,000 per month. So when he was renting it as a rental before, he was making right under $20,000, and it was only rented 6 months out of the year. So per month. And so again, this is how private money lending can help, because if I just show up and expect them to give me the owner financing and pay off the mortgage and do all the things, and there's no cash at the table, that seller's not going to take me legitimate or serious. And so I have two choices: go liquidate a property, pay taxes on that liquidation, and come with my own money, or find a friend that I can make rich by tying them to the deal. Right? So that was just the example. Anyway, does anybody else have? We had like 5 or 6 people down in the audience, which I think is super great. I know that we've got the young gang in here, and what I mean by young gang is we've got the Katyas and the Blakes, and I think Tina's in here. She can fit in that category. So any of you guys got things you want to throw and toss in here?
I just want to know what category do the rest of us fit in then?
Yeah, right?
You're seasoned. You're
The,
seasoned.
the, the
Oh,
post
okay.
grads.
Suck it up. No pain, no shame in here. Come on now. So, but yeah, no, we appreciate everyone coming in. You guys are presenters. Like, you guys want to pretend like you're still in the crib. Get out of here. Come on. Like, we ain't doing all that.
So I just want to thank Trevor and Amor and Victoria, just really the whole team, for leaning in and carrying on this legacy moving forward. It really is all of us, right? So
yeah, the growth of it's been amazing. You guys are
Yeah.
freaking awesome. That's all I know.
Truly. And we have a ton of people watching live online as well through LinkedIn and Facebook and TikTok and all the things. So we got a lot of people here.
That's great. I like it. I like it. So, if Katya, you any questions?
I don't have any questions,
How is
but
that
I
even
do have a
possible?
statement. Throughout my whole real estate education journey, I'm realizing more and more that questions are critical, and they either open doors or close doors. So the more questions, because I feel like a lot of people are nervous to ask questions because they don't
Yeah.
want to seem stupid, or they don't want to seem silly or embarrass themselves. But when you ask the questions, you either get good answers that educate you and propel you forward, or it closes that door because people get defensive or they don't know,
Right.
or so
Yep.
it's just so valuable to ask questions.
Yep.
I've been learning that.
So true. So true. So true. Yeah, that was a good point. That was such a good point.
Love it.
That's awesome. No, that's great. I appreciate that, Katya. Tina, do you have anything you'd like to add? I think Blake really just is checked out because he's probably going to class. But Tina, do you have anything?
I don't. I'm just listening in. I'm excited about an opportunity to start investing. So
You sound like you're in the beautiful state of Iowa.
yes.
Okay, good. Yeah, I
Yes,
can hear the wind blowing there. That's not happening right now in Arizona.
it's a
Right.
windy day today, but it's warm.
Well, at 107 degrees and 20-mile-an-hour wind, you can cook a chicken outside on a picnic table. It's called an air fryer.
Yeah, we're about 70 and windy, but
70 and windy. Oh my God. Like, I'm going to Iowa. See y'all later.
it's pretty today. Yeah. If I can keep things from blowing away, I have to sit outside for meetings.
That's
Until
awesome.
my son builds my sunroom for me, right? On my deck. So
All right.
no, this is all good. I'm just getting registered for the summit.
Laura, do you have anything to add? Laura's our transaction coordinator. She's the TC manager. So you get into the investment club, you get to meet all these great people and work with them. So it's great to be in here with you guys. And since we don't have anything else, I'll just wrap it up with a prayer. If everybody's okay with that, give me a thumbs up. All right, Heavenly Father, we thank you for the blessing of this day. And damn it, there's Blake. Blake went in and out.
I just parked for work. I was driving.
Heavenly Father, bless Blake today as he goes to work and he doesn't crash into nothing, and playing with his camera. And thank you for all the people that came in today and did the work, and for all the greatness of what Catherine's built. You, Lord, you've given Catherine a dream to fulfill, and if we look next to her, all the people that you put beside her to do that is just absolutely amazing. So we want to extend that level of gratitude to you, Lord, because we know that it's not possible without you. We ask this in your son's name. Amen. All right,
Amen.
everybody have a
Talk to
great
you guys
day,
later.
and we'll talk.